Hello everyone, our lesson today is about sensitivity and movement in plants. Tropism. Example for that, tropism. Firstly, the objectives for this lesson are: number one, by the end of this lesson you should be able to know that plants also is same as all the living things that are sensitive to the environment or to their environment. And also you should know that plants respond to a stimuli by changes in their growth patterns. We will see how their growth pattern will change depending on a stimulus. And also you should be able to know that plant growth responses are controlled by hormones. Before we talked about hormones in human. Okay, today we will see also plants have hormones, and also these hormones will affect on the growth of plant. And also to appreciate the importance of plant growth responses. And last thing is you should be able to understand that how plant hormones may be used commercially. We will see how the hormones will affect on the growth of plants and how we can use it commercially. Plants respond to their environment. When we talked about the human, we said human respond to the environment, respond to a change in the environment. The same thing here, it's happening in the plant. How? Plants respond to their environment. They show sensitivity. Okay, the plants' responses are rather slow compared with of those in animals. Plants will respond to the environment, but their response, if we will compare it with the response of animals to the environment, we will see it's much slower. So plants, it respond, but slower. A stimuli or stimulus, we said what we mean by stimuli or stimulus, it's a change in the environment. It's any change in the environment that makes the organism or makes the living thing respond to it in a specific way. Plants, it respond to many stimuli, but two are particular importance: light and gravity. Plants, it respond to many stimuli, but the main two are the light and gravity. So light, we call it photostimulus, and gravity, we call it gravistimulus. So now our topic today, it's about tropism. What do you mean by tropism? Is a growth response carried out by a plant in response to the direction of the stimulus is called tropism. Or if you want, you can give another definition. You will say tropism, it's the growth of plant in response to a stimulus. Tropism, we have two types of tropism. The tropism, either it's positive tropism or negative tropism, but when it's positive and when it's negative. A positive tropism, it's what? A response, it's a growth or a growth movement toward the stimulus. Okay, it means when a part of plant, for example, will grow, but this growth, it's what? It's toward the stimulus. So this kind of tropism, we call it what? Positive tropism. For example, if you have a plant, a part of plant, it grow toward the sunlight. So light here, it's what? It's phototropism. And the part here, it's growing toward the light. So here we will say this is positive phototropism. And negative response, it's a growth movement away from the stimulus. Okay, so two types of tropism, two types of stimulus, we call them positive and negative. It depends on the direction of growth. If it's toward a stimulus, this is positive. If it's away from the stimulus, this we call it negative. Now let's see some examples. Examples. A stem growing toward light is what? Is positive phototropism. We have a part of plant which is a stem. It's growing toward light. Light, it's what? It's stimuli. It's stimulus here. Okay, now what if the growing it's toward the light? So what's this toward the stimulus? This it's positive. And now why we called it positive phototropism? Because the stem it grows toward light. Another example. A stem growing upward away from the gravity. Now it's what? It's negative gravitropism. Why it's negative? Because it's growing away from the stimulus. Why gravitropism? Because here we are talking about gravity. So a stem growing upwards away from gravity is a negative gravitropism. Now another example. A root growing downward. Now do it by yourself, this one. A root growing downward away from light. So what is the stimulus here? Light. So the tropism here, what kind of tropism here? Now we are talking about phototropism. But now the phototropism of root, is it positive or negative? So the answer here, it will be negative phototropism. Why negative phototropism? Because the roots, as we know, it grows away from light. It goes deeply to the soil. So it's growing where? Away from light. So in this case, we will call it what? Negative phototropism. But if we will talk about gravity, we will see that roots, it grows where? It grows toward the direction, toward the gravity, or with the direction of the gravity. So here, how it will be? It will be positive gravitropism. Now, as we know, each plant, it consists of two parts, the upper part and the lower part. Or in another words, we will say plant, it consists of two parts. These two parts are what? Are the roots and shoots. Where we can find roots? Roots are what? Roots are the parts that it will grow inside the soil, while the shoots, it's what? It grows up, or it grows above the soil. Now, roots are positively gravitropic. Why they are positively gravitropic? Because they grow into the soil, and that which provides a source of water and minerals. They provide an extensive system of support and anchorage for the plant. Shoots, what do you mean by shoot here, or shoots? It's the stem with leaves. Stem and leaves are positively phototropic. They are positive, why? Because they grow toward the direction, toward the sunlight. So leaves are in the optimum position to absorb light energy for photosynthesis. Flowers are lifted into the position where they are most likely to receive pollen. Here we have this experiment. It shows that our experiments provide clues about phototropism. This experiment, it shows how plants it respond to light. Firstly, as you can see here here we have shoot, grows and bends towards light. Here it's a normal shoot of plant. It's growing and it's growing to or bending towards light. This is the light. Okay, as you can see, these the yellow arrows. Okay, then they cut the tip of the shoot. Okay, when they cut the tip of shoot, they saw the plant it's not growing anymore. Now the tip that they cut it, they replaced on agar jelly. What do you mean by agar jelly? Here it's like a medium they used to grow to make organisms grow. It's like a medium that it has all the nutrients for the organism to grow. Okay, here what they did, cut, tip replaced on agar, shoot grows and bent toward light. They put the tip again and they saw it started growing again and also bending to the light. Okay, here they put it, here they saw it grows again and it started bending to the light. Shoot marked with ink. So here they have this shoot, they put marks on it they use a kind of ink. Okay, then they followed the ink. What happened? They saw it keeps growing, the shoot, it keeps growing and bending toward the light. Shoot bends toward light. Ink marks show region of growth. Okay, here the ink that they used, it's showing the region of growth. Okay, it's the same as this, but here what happened, see now the distance between two marks. Okay, here what happened to it, the distance it increased. What's that mean? It means a growth here, it happened, new cells formed between them. So it grows, it's bigger now, and also it's going toward the light. Phototropism is controlled by auxin. As we mentioned before, animals, human, for example, and plants, all of them, they grow by the help of hormones. In plants, we have one hormone, we call it auxin. So, auxin means growth substance, or it's the substance, or it's the hormone that it enable plants to grow. But how this hormone it works, and how it works in the plant. So here we have the mechanism of phototropism. The mechanism of phototropism, or firstly, let's give again definition for phototropism. Phototropism, it's the growth of plant or a part of plant in response to light. Now, mechanism of phototropism. As we said, plant or a part of plant will grow in response to light. So, auxin, this hormone, it's always produced at the tip of the plant, And what will happen? Tip, for example, of shoot, which it's a stem, and the top of the tip of stem. What will happen? As you can see here, auxin is produced at the tip and diffuses slowly down the plant. Here it's the tip, and here this is the auxin. The auxin will be produced and then will be diffused slowly down the plant cells. Okay, now what will happen? Sun or light, it will affect on the production of auxin. How? As you can see here, focus on this arrow. What happened? Here they were equal, the same arrows, but here they differ. What's that mean? It means the side that it faces the light, it will produce less auxin. When it will produce less auxin, the auxin here, it will affect on the absorption of water. As we know, as much as the plant cell will have more water, will be straight. Okay. Now, what is happening? Light is coming from this side. So, oxygen at this side will be less. When it will be less, the amount of water, the absorbed water here will be less. When it will be less amount of water here, so the plant will start bending. So this is what? This is the mechanism of phototropism. Here we have a note said, more light means less growth. More light means less growth. What's that mean? If we will compare between plants that it grow in front of sun and the shadow plants, or the plants that it needs dark place to grow, if we will compare between them, we will see that the dark plants usually they are taller and thinner than the plants that grow in front of sun. So plants grown in the dark grow much taller and thinner than those grown in the light. This is called ethylation. Okay, light reduces the amount of oxygen and so reduces growth. Now, in general, oxygen, it's a hormone that affect the plant's growth. This oxygen, it will be affected, the amount of oxygen will be affected by the amount of light. More light, less oxygen. So, in this way, that because of this effect, the plants will bend when it is growing. So this was everything for our lesson. So our lesson today, it was tropism. So on page 156 and 157. And the next lesson we will continue this one. Next lesson we will start with page 158 and page 159. I hope now everything was clear. Please, again, when watch the video, then write a comment. If you still have any questions, any concerns about this topic, please text me. Thank you and have a good day.